It's the Brad Field Weather Podcast, underwritten by McAllen Construction. McAllen Construction, from the first dig to the last nail. I'm Dan Lovallo. He is meteorologist Brad Field. And Brad, here we are in the middle of December, knocking on the door to the start of winter, and the weather has been anything but winter-like other than some cold temperatures.
Yeah, my goodness, Dan. I looked back at the climatology for the first couple of weeks of December, and we are averaging 4 to 5 degrees above normal per day. So it has indeed been a mild first couple of weeks of December. It was cold and dry overall during the month of November, and December has been a complete turnaround. We are mild and wet thus far, and still no snow of any consequence, and no snow in the immediate forecast, Dan. As far as today is concerned, if you've lost track due to the mild weather of late, the average high temperature for Thursday, Thursday, December 14th, is 41, and the normal low temperature is 25.
So as you take a look back, how does this compare right now to some previous Decembers?
Well, Dan, I looked back, and this is me being the eternal optimist for the snow lovers, and I know that the people that listen to our podcast, Dan, and sometimes are able to view it when you can put it on YouTube and the social medias and so forth, know that I like snow. And if you go back in climatology and you take a look at what our worst snow season in Connecticut has been since 1905, so what's that, the last 118 years, it's the winter of 1995 and 1996 at Bradley International Airport. About 120 inches of snow accumulated at Bradley, Dan. Now, of course, more occurred in the Northeast Hills and the Northwest Hills, but at Bradley, right in the Connecticut River Valley, 120 inches of snow. Now, Dan, the interesting thing about that is that the first snow of any consequence, do you have any idea what date that would have been?
Oh, gosh, I have no idea.
It was Christmas Eve. So what I'm saying to you is it's really not the length of time. It's not like, oh, we've wasted all of November with no snow. Oh, we've wasted the first 2 weeks of December with no snow. You just have to get a pattern set up and get into the firing line. And typically these patterns only last a few months. So the whole key here is to get a pattern, a favorable pattern, to set up at a favorable time. Now, I would say that the entire month of January and the entire month of February is a very favorable time. And if you ask the snow lovers in Connecticut, will you trade away a mild December if I told you I think it's going to be very cold and very snowy in January and February? I think the preponderance of the people would say yes. And that, without giving away my winter forecast, which we will give next Thursday on the official winter solstice, which is next Thursday, December 21st, without giving it away, that play that is still in the cards. What may happen in January and February. So even though it's mild now, you take heart, because climatologically we had the worst winter on record in 118 years of weather records around here in 1995 and 1996, and the first measurable snow did not come until Christmas Eve. So certainly the winter is not over by any means. We haven't lost another one, type of thing. I try to remain the optimist on that.
Okay, speaking of optimist, the Patriots actually won a game. My Giants won a game, and even the Jets won. And so we always like to have the football forecast involving the three area NFL teams. What does it look like going into this week number 15 of the NFL season?
Well, yeah, just take a look at what our different boys did. I mean, Bailey Zappi came through for my team, and Tommy DeVito came through for your team, and even Zach Wilson, that poor guy who's constantly beat up all the time, he played a great game for the Jets. So this week what we've got, Dan, is Kansas City is coming into New England. It looks like it'll be cloudy in Foxborough on Sunday with temperatures in the 40s, so certainly not cold, and I don't think anything that's going to disrupt the game in any way, shape, or form. Your Giants, Dan, are down in New Orleans, and you can probably help me on this one. I'm not positive, but does New Orleans have a dome?
Yeah, they play in the Superdome, so they don't have to worry about the weather.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about the weather. I checked the New Orleans weather anyway. It's mostly sunny, windy, and near 60. And then the Jets are down in Miami on Sunday.
Yes.
It looks like it'll be a partly sunny, breezy day. There could be a passing shower or thunder shower, but I don't think it's a big deal. And temperatures will be in the 70s. So a very nice day for the game down in Miami.
Brad, let's take a look at our On the Weather Map segment. What does that look like?
Dan, we've got sprawling high pressure over West Virginia today, and that's kind of setting up shop in the Northeast for the weather today, Thursday, December 14th, tomorrow, Friday, and then to start the weekend on Saturday. It looks like that high is going to dominate. But as we continue with the clockwise flow around the high, we are in coolish air today, seasonable we'll call it, temperatures between 36 and 42 for the high today. But as we continue with a westerly flow, we are going to start to see a significant warm-up again during the day tomorrow. Temperatures will rebound nicely, and it looks like a nice start to the weekend, too, on Saturday, with that high pressure in place and a continuation of mild temperatures. Now, meanwhile, while we are enjoying the weather the next 3 days here in the Northeast, great for any holiday shopping you have to perform. On Saturday, we will be watching a major storm coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. Now, that major storm on Sunday at 7 in the morning will be situated on the Florida-Georgia border, and that thing is going to be coming straight to the north. By Monday, that storm will be on the North Carolina-Virginia border, but it will be inland, Dan. It will be over the land. It will not be coming up the coast and offshore. So it looks like a warm track again for us, even for the ski areas, I think. Mainly rain coming in from this thing. By Tuesday, the storm on the North Carolina-Virginia border on Monday will have tracked into Maine. By Tuesday morning, it will be departing. So Sunday night and Monday look like another stormy time for us with rain and mild temperatures overall in the 40s and 50s across the region as the storm goes flying by to our west. And then Tuesday, the cold front slams through on the backside of the low departing from Maine. We have high pressure building in from the Great Lakes region. It looks like it'll be partly cloudy with the tendency to clear. It'll be breezy and cooler next Tuesday. And then Wednesday, high pressure in control from Quebec to the Ohio Valley, a northerly flow and seasonable. That means temperatures anywhere from the mid-30s to the low 40s. So, Dan, it looks like we're in somewhat of a pattern here where after the storm goes by, it doesn't get really cold. It gets seasonably cold. And then for the storm, it's windy and mild.
Well, you know, it's interesting, Brad. That's okay. It's interesting because you alluded to that Christmas Eve storm that time, and then how everything turned around weather-wise in January and February. Without giving away our winter forecast, kind of speculate a little bit of what might be unfolding here as far as El Nino and the impact it might have on all of this.
Well, everyone's wondering. I think the big question on everybody's lips is, does it look like it's going to be a white Christmas? I'd say the odds of getting a big snowstorm before Christmas are extremely low. Could we get a little coating of snow before Christmas? Well, that's possible, I suppose. And then, then beyond that, I will speculate a little bit here. But, for those days leading up to Christmas, Dan, it looks like a continuation of partly sunny weather on Thursday, temperatures in the 30s. So next Friday, in other words, a week from tomorrow, so what would that be? That would be Friday
the 22nd.
22nd. Yeah, it looks like a cold day. I think it's going to stay sub-freezing all day. So it may not look like Christmas, but it will feel like it with temperatures below freezing, I suspect. And I also think Saturday will be another cold day. It'll be in the teens in the morning, mainly in the 20s during the day, but continued dry. Sunday would be Christmas Eve. I think that's going to be a clear, cold time with temperatures in the teens in the morning, 20s in the afternoon. So again, the feel of Christmas, if not, if not the look of Christmas, at least it will have the feel. And then on Monday, Christmas Day, increasing clouds and temperatures in the 20s in the morning, rising into the 30s during the afternoon. So it will feel like Christmas. I'm not so sure it's going to look like Christmas around here. But Dan, one computer model that goes out, 768 hours it goes out, is the Canadian model. And just to give a little bit of hope before we get into the short-term forecast here, to give a little bit of hope to the people that want to get into this cold and snowy shooting gallery type of thing. The Canadian model is indeed doing that. You have to wait till Thursday, January 4th, going into Friday, January 5th, where they are showing a nor'easter with, statewide snow here in Connecticut and quite a bit of it. And then they're showing the very next week, Tuesday, January 10th, going into Wednesday, January 11th, another nor'easter with big snow here in Connecticut. So, again, we'll be 7 days closer next week, and next week I will be giving the winter forecast. But at least at this point in time, even though it appears that the month of December is lost for snow lovers, the one computer model that I use that goes out into January is still giving us a lot of cold and frequent snowstorms, and they could be fairly big.
Wow. And as you just alluded to, next week, a week from today, you will have your very popular, all-encompassing Bradfield winter forecast, correct?
Correct. And I've been working on it, Dan. I've been reading various articles and so forth. Every year you learn a little bit more and more about the Earth, and that's kind of one thing that I really enjoy about being a meteorologist. It's frustrating because you're never going to be perfect and you're never going to get everything right, but it's a constant learning process, and you discover when you get lots and lots of data that when A happens, B usually happens, or whatever, the cause and effect type of thing. So I'm looking at that. There's a lot of things that we look at. We look at analog winters, like, what kind of winter had this type of jet stream pattern in November and December, and what did that lead to in January and February? So we look at all things kind of like that. If the winter is an El Nino event going on in the Pacific of, say, moderate proportions, how does that skew to a winter here in New England as compared to a winter when El Nino is strong? And we essentially have what's been known to be called the Pineapple Express, where we get our jet stream flow into Connecticut from San Diego and Baja California. You don't get much cold air when your jet stream flow is coming at you from San Diego. So those are the kind of things we look at. But this, I will say this to the snow lovers, this is not a strong El Nino season, so don't really worry about the San Diego jet stream.
Well, on that note, and again, we're putting this podcast together on the 14th of December, which is a Thursday. What does our immediate forecast look like?
Dan, it's sunny today, and it's seasonable. Temperatures between 36 and 42, no problem in the world. Frosty tonight with temperatures moving down into the 20s. Friday and Saturday, same thing. Beautiful sunny days, both days. Temperatures both days between 46 and 52 degrees. During the day on Sunday, thickening clouds. You're going to think a storm's coming, and you're right. A storm is coming Sunday night and Monday, and it's going to be a windy, rainy, mild kind of storm cutting to our west. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another couple of inches of rain from this thing, and everyone's going to think, oh, no, all that precipitation we wasted and it was all rain. But then Tuesday looks clearing and breezy, temperatures getting back toward where they should be, afternoon high of around 40. And then Wednesday of next week, sunny and seasonable with temperatures between 35 and 40.
All right, my friend, that's going to do it for our weekly podcast. And again, we'll have your winter forecast next week. And to you and Sandy and our podcast audience, have a great weekend and a great early next week.
Dan, thank you very much. And I wish you and Susan the best. And good luck to everybody with their shopping. I've got to get out there myself and finish up.
Thanks, Brad. The Brad Field Weather Podcast has been underwritten by McAllen Construction. McAllen Construction, from the first dig to the last nail. And remember, McAllen Construction also does snow removal. Have a great weekend, everybody.